In the midst of a gloomy day, a frightened young woman answers a phone call from her parents, inquiring when they'll be home. As she catches sight of breaking news about a serial killer on the loose, the doorbell rings. The visitor identifies himself as Samir Purnavale, claiming to be the business partner of the landlord, Mr. Malhotra. With news of the serial killer still fresh, the woman hesitates to open the door. She insists that this isn't Mr. Malhotra's house, but a certain Mr. Gupta's. Accepting that there may have been a misunderstanding, Samir continues to ring the doorbell, even after the woman refuses to let him in. To scare him off, she lies that her husband is sleeping upstairs. Samir mentions that he actually saw a man in the house and requests to speak to him. Hearing this and noises from within the house, the woman panics and runs outside. Samir reassures her and guides her back inside, promising to protect her. Suddenly, in a power outage, the woman heads to the kitchen to find candles, only to find her pet cat dead. Terrified, she dashes towards the door, but finds a man holding a gun there. The man introduces himself as Inspector Qureshi and dials the police station for assistance. Samir and the woman are suspicious of Qureshi, and the two men start to argue. The woman grabs the gun, forcing Qureshi to admit that he isn't actually a policeman, but a thief. The woman calls her mother and instructs her to contact the police. Samir critically injures Qureshi, assuming he's the serial killer. He picks up the phone to call the police, but it isn't working. Confused, he tells the woman to hide and tries to fix the phone. The doorbell rings again and Samir answers it. He calls the woman over and says that a man is asking about Mr. Malhotra, even though he initially insisted the house belonged to Mr. Gupta. Distraught, Samir searches the attic and stumbles upon the dead body of Mr. Malhotra. The woman attacks him, but Samir is stabbed by Qureshi, who believes him to be the murderer. The woman starts to hum and stabs Qureshi to death. The next day, the woman starts to remove the bodies, cleans the house, rearranges the furniture, and talks to her mother on the cut phone line, revealing that she's the serial killer. The doorbell rings and there's another man at the door, asking about Mr. Malhotra. The woman turns towards the audience and flashes a serene smile. We never find out who the woman truly is and how she's committing murders in a stranger's house, or what Mr. Malhotra means to her.